Hey guys, hope you're going well today. Here it is as promised. I know, a little bit late, but better late than never. Let's get stuck into it spoiler style on the Captain America Civil War movie. And yes, this is a mega spoiler discussion, so you have been warned. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I have done a spoiler-free review, so I will leave a link, go and watch that, and then go and watch the movie, and then come back here and we will get stuck into it. This might be an odd place as the very first comment to make, but I have been bursting to talk about the villain of this movie, to talk about Zemo, played by Daniel Bruhl. I know this has been a controversial point in this entire movie because overall I feel like people have really had positive things to say and really loved the movie. It's no secret, I also loved this movie. Zemo was the one pulling the strings. He was the puppet master trying to pit these two mighty heroes, Captain America and Iron Man, against each other because he knew that he would never be able to defeat them in a combat, and the only way he could get one over on them was if he turned the tables and, you know, pit them against each other, which is what he says in the third act when they finally reach that, what is that, the place where all those other Winter Soldiers are kept. And he pretty much stands there behind this like huge pane of glass, protected, separated from them and not even in the same room, as he plays Tony the video of Bucky killing Tony's parents to kind of trigger that irrational tick in Tony to have him and like to have them all fight each other. He really didn't have to do much at all, in my opinion. I thought it was better that throughout the movie he's just sort of put in there and you know that he's evil but you don't really know what's going on, and then in the third act reveal when he confesses his intentions and his motivations and like why he hates the Avengers so much and wants to destroy them from within. It's almost allegorical. He is just there as a major plot device. He's like a little bit one-dimensional himself. He's just there for revenge, but he is just there as the catalyst for pitting these two giant superheroes against each other. And frankly, at the end, when he is all locked away and Martin Freeman says to him, "You didn't succeed," and he says, "Didn't I?" I think that that was just the perfect cherry on top, because it's true, the Avengers have been divided forever. There has been no lovely, you know, resolution, even though Captain America has extended the olive branch to Tony in a sense and sort of given him this cell phone that he can call if he ever needs help or in a desperate time. They are separated. There is not that unity that they had from the last movies. So for me, Zemo was a great villain because this is one of the only times in a superhero movie that a villain has essentially succeeded in his goal. I have to take a moment to stress that I haven't read the comic book version. I know that Zemo exists very differently in the comic book universe, and the entire story behind Civil War is, you know, pretty different from what I've read. So I'm not talking about the comic books and who Zemo is in the comics and his background and his story arc there. This is completely separate. We're talking about the movies only. Moving on to one of the biggest, most exciting scenes of any movie I have seen this year, I think is safe to say, is that 17 minutes of glory right in the middle with the airport scene. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried about the airport scene in general because I felt like all of the trailers that had come out, all of the marketing spots and stuff had just flogged this airport scene, and that we'd seen like the two sides running at each other in every single trailer we'd seen. So I sort of thought, oh gosh, I hope that that's not the best highlight. But no, there were some tricks up their sleeve, and seeing Giant Man come to fruition was just so awesome. I adore Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. It is so good. In fact, I rewatched Ant-Man just a few days ago and it is still as funny as the first time I saw it. He is just so good. In a movie that is so big and so many different characters running around, I feel like the Russo brothers with their script were really able to nail seeing a good portion of each character and not making it feel too cluttered by focusing on single relationships between these characters. And one of those I really liked was seeing Vision and Scarlet Witch and seeing how they developed throughout this movie. How at the beginning Vision is really trying to create this relationship with Scarlet Witch, and there's that moment in the kitchen where he is cooking food for her, and that's kind of a really sweet moment. And I even thought that maybe Vision had some feelings for her at that point, which was, you know, a really like nice little twist. And then seeing the two of them face off at the airport scene made all of that just more emotional stakes, and was just really awesome. The most successful thing that this movie did was get that tonal shift on balance, which was balancing the dark and the light elements. So there was real danger, there were real emotional stakes at play, maybe not for the world like there usually are, but between these two heroes, Cap and Iron Man. So there was just a lot of danger in the fact that their relationship was on the rocks, their friendship was just about to turn into an all-out, you know, war. And then on the other side, there were so many awesome, funny light moments. That just is what Marvel is all about, and this just what we love. One of my favorite moments where I laughed out loud to the fact that I think I might have spat a little bit, it was that funny, was when Cap is out of the car and he is, oh, I forget that girl's name, Peggy's daughter, Peggy's niece, and they have that like little romantic like moment, and then in the car watching them is Falcon and Bucky's just like, dude, can you move up your seat? And he's like, no. It sounds like nothing when you explain it, but I like snorted with laughter. And it's moments like that that just make these kinds of movies just so much fun. Touching briefly on Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, or T'Challa, I was just blown away. I did mention this in my non-spoiler review, but he was the character that I was most skeptical of, because what I had seen from him in the trailers just looked like almost funny. I didn't think he was going to be a menacing badass superhero, which is what he turned out to be. He was awesome. I loved his costume so much. Even his like little claws that popped up and retracted like baby Wolverine claws. I thought that was going to be not very good, but but ended up being really, really awesome. Everything about his regal demeanor, his character, that he has that sort of authority behind everything, all his movements. I loved his accent, his Wakandan accent, and I just thought he really brought it. An unexpected but very down-to-earth moment is when T'Challa actually faces off against Zemo, and he is the only character to come face to face with the villain, like actually face to face, because remember in the other scene they're separated by a big glass wall. So here T'Challa is there without his mask. It's a very intimate moment, and Zemo is there ready to end his life because he's never expected to walk away from the situation that he's created alive, and he is actually seeking death. And T'Challa decides to that he has to live and go on and endure with all his internal suffering, and that is like a worse way to be. Was anyone else so surprised that T'Challa took in Cap and Bucky and is aiding and abetting fugitives in Wakanda? I did not see that coming. I also liked that Bucky decided to put himself back under ice. I thought that that wrapped up his storyline nicely, but then it also keeps him for a future. You know, they don't like to kill, they never kill off characters because they're always saving them for, you know, later on for a rainy day. So I like that it wrapped that up, but that he's not gone. Guys, I could go on and on. I didn't even talk about Pepper and Tony's relationship breaking down. I barely touched on my thoughts about Tom Holland being a bomb-ass Spider-Man. There are so many more things to talk about, but I have to wrap it up. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do leave me comments in the comment section down below. If you want to have a more in-depth discussion about whether Zemo worked or not, I'm happy to go there because I know that my thoughts are a little bit, you know, controversial on him being a good and successful villain. So we can hash it out in the comment section. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with my other movie and TV reviews. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.